Hey guys, Mansinkin here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so we had some news drop earlier this morning. I'm sure you guys have seen some of it already. We had a producer letter. These get posted, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, 3 a.m. UK time. And a lot of the time, we don't know exactly when, like days in advance, like, you know, oh, a producer letter is going to get posted tomorrow. So typically for me, it was like the one day of the week that I didn't do a morning stream and had to sleep in instead. And all this information came out, and the producer letter actually had quite a significant amount of information, not just about how the worldwide celebration seemingly is going to end here. You know, we've been waiting for some news on like a big EZA to finish off the celebration or something like that. Well, not only did we get that, but we also got a lot of other interesting information as well. So I'm not just going to sit and play the video itself, because there's a lot of stuff they go over and it is 12 minutes long, but I wanted to highlight a couple of the most important things. So they talk about the worldwide celebration and obviously the fact that it was featured around the Broly movies, and then they talk about a little bit of upcoming content which is going to be related to Gogeta and Janemba. So very interesting, because obviously, you know, with the worldwide being themed around the Broly movies specifically, and not just Broly movies in general, I know a lot of people have wanted to see these EZAs come up, but obviously it didn't really feel like it was something that fit the theme. So it wasn't something that I was necessarily expecting to be a thing that we would see get announced. But yeah, physical Janemba and the tech Gogeta, or Goku Vegeta that fuse into Gogeta, are going to be getting EZAs. And the details have been posted already, so we are going to talk about those in this video as well. So with them being tweeted out already, and the fact that the worldwide celebration doesn't really last for that much longer in general anyway, it means that these EZAs should be coming to the game within the next couple of days. With this information coming out on what is Saturday morning for me, these could be out on Monday morning to start off the new week, which would be the 30th, which I think was when the Rose EZA either came out or was announced last year. So the timings do line up with that based on what we saw last year. So we've got the EZAs for these guys, Dragon Ball Z Fusion Reborn, the old school movie poster there, getting the EZAs. And not only are we getting the EZAs for these characters, but they're also adding 2 more stages to the Memorable Battles movie edition, which is obviously the one we've gotten recently with the Broly and Gohan stages and everything. They're adding a Gogeta and a Janemba stage. So this is very interesting, and one of the big things about this event that they've been doing is that this event has been dropping exclusive skill orbs for the characters that you fight in the event, and they did indeed confirm in the video that you will be able to get skill orbs for Gogeta and Janemba from doing these stages. So that's definitely very, very cool. Those EZAs, like I say, we'll go through the details here in a little bit. They are very, very good. So then they showed a roadmap leading up to the 10th anniversary, which of course we know is at the end of January / beginning of February. So they've got something that we're going to talk about here in a minute, the change of the summon format, which starts from October. The Greatest Warrior, that is the tutorial Goku panel missions that give you the LR free-to-play Goku. That's being updated. Character details and icons in battle, bit of an update for the overall like UI of the game. Then we're going to get more quest Dokkan story with the Bardock Dokkan Awakening. And obviously remember, all of this stuff is on both versions at the same time now. So beginning of October, new quest stages that Bardock is going to get a Dokkan Awakening. Then as we move into November, development for the 10th anniversary, new ability being added, character details, etc. The Heroes campaign is confirmed. I'm going to do a separate video talking about this and talking about the stuff that I want to see. But yeah, Heroes, obviously with the arcade game being discontinued, we weren't sure if Heroes would even get a celebration this year. We still don't know what's going to happen in the future, of course, but yeah, Heroes is going to get a celebration this year guaranteed. And then in the middle, I guess towards the end of November, beginning of December, we're getting the more quest stages with the Frieza Dokkan Awakening as well. Then a Divine Dragon Carnival in December. So this matches up to last year. This is where we got the release of the Tech LR Super Saiyan Trio. So this is essentially confirming that we are going to get another Carnival LR release here in this same time slot. So that's definitely very interesting. little bit of a roadmap going up to the 10th anniversary. So they show here, obviously, the Awakenings coming soon. They don't show the arts or anything like that. However, one thing they did mention, you can't see the subtitles on here, I think, but one of the things that they did specifically mention is that both of these guys have Dokkan Battle original animations, which is very cool. Obviously, we're expecting Bardock to awaken into something interesting, considering the categories that he's on. I think there's no other Bardocks in the game that are on Team Bardock and... is it Time Travelers? Because normally the Time Traveler Bardocks are the Super Saiyan ones, and by then Team Bardock has been wiped out, and then the Team Bardock ones are from the from the Bardock special, you know, before all the Super Saiyan Bardock stuff. So very interested to see what he ends up awakening into. Same with the Frieza, and we'll find that out soon. 10th anniversary coin campaign. So complete missions to get 10th anniversary warm-up coins. This is going to be interesting. We don't know exactly what this is yet, but they also touch on an interesting thing here about as the anniversary is building up. I saw Truth tweet about this. Certain events and certain like characters will get specific buffs. So like the way this seems is that like there could be an event in November where characters like the 3rd anniversary units and 4th anniversary units actually get buffed for that event, which would be kind of cool. Going into January, where we then have the last couple. So that is certainly very interesting. And then one of the biggest pieces of news, this is the UI stuff. So this is interesting now. This is going to show you, so things will be updated in that in-battle screen. And you can see here symbols that give you an idea of how many actions have been performed. Like if you're trying to keep track of somebody's passive. So this should be from the way that I can see the symbols. It's like number of attacks, number of super attacks, number of times hit. I believe that might be guarded and then dodged. So if you have characters that need to do those things a certain number of times, you're actually going to be able to check in battle how many times they've done those things, which is definitely very, very interesting. And then, of course, we have the character details. I think they're just kind of tidied up the passive, like as some of the characters' passives are so long. So rather than like waiting for it to scroll or pressing and holding your finger down, you can just press a button, which then brings up like the full passive info. So that'll be a little bit useful. Icon design improvements. So now we can have, okay, so they're changing the stun symbol and immune to stun, turn delay, super attack ceiling, immune to super attack ceiling, interruption. So I mean, they've just changed the symbols a little bit. Nothing really too crazy there, nothing like groundbreaking. But then, yeah, this is the Greatest Warrior thing. People complained that there were too many missions, unable to power up summon characters due to not being able to clear events such as Dokkan events, overwhelming amount of content after clearing the missions. So they're going to streamline this and add in some extra stuff. One of the things they talked about here is you're now going to be able to get, by doing these panel missions, a bunch of free-to-play characters. So not only is there the LR Goku, but we then have TURs for a Gohan and Piccolo, Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, and Chaozu. All of these free-to-play units will be available by doing those panel missions, and then you get a full category team, which obviously I guess in this case is Earthbred Fighters. So for any of the missions, like if there's going to be missions in the streamlined versions for using a category team to beat an event or something like that, you've already got like a full free-to-play category team built up for you by doing the tutorial. So that's pretty cool. Obviously for longer time players this doesn't really have much of an impact. I don't expect any of those free-to-play units to be good enough to be used like if you're on sort of like an end game account level. But now we're on to the big thing, change of summon format. And honestly this is like kind of groundbreaking. It's something that we've been waiting for such a long time, and like, you know, it's one of those things where whilst the system isn't perfect, because we've been waiting for it for so long, it's just such massive news that we've gotten it now. Like, I'm sure naysayers like will say, oh, well, we should have just got this ages ago. But the summon formats of the Dokkan Festival and Legendary Summon will be unified. So basically, I know there's another slide that has some more info on it. Yeah. So going forward, the normal standalone Dokkan Fests, and they do say specifically, this doesn't apply to the Worldwide, Anniversary, Saiyan Day, Thank You Celebration. I think they mentioned something else as well, like all the big ones, because obviously we've seen like the Worldwide had its own special pity coins thing and all that kind of stuff, but all the quote-unquote filler Dokkan Fests are all going to have pity going forward. And the way they talk about it in this video is it's going to be the same format as the legendary summon banners, which are the yellow coin banners. So that means that it's going to be the 200 coins, aka 1,000 stones, but obviously could be less than 1,000 stones if you're trading in SSRs. On average, like as someone who can trade in a bunch of SSRs because I have most of the units in the game, this kind of averages out to being like around 700 stones if you pull a bunch of SSRs that you can trade in. You then end up with enough coins to hit the pity. So this is obviously really, really good because like this kind of changes up the game a little bit when it comes to summoning for some of these filler Dokkan Fests, because some of these units would be difficult skips for people because they're characters that people really like. Like for example, Topo, Jiren, not Jiren, Topo, Master Roshi, that's going to be coming up soon for Global. These are kind of like, these units are really good and they're characters that some people would be really interested in summoning for, but obviously it's always the case that you need to be careful with your stones between the big major celebrations, and especially with the fact that there was no pity system, so there was no guarantee. So you could go ham on Roshi's banner trying to get him, not get him, and have just wasted a whole bunch of stones. Whereas now going forwards, you know that if a character like that comes out that you do really want, like you have this pity system in place, and can potentially pull these characters. I mean, you will pull them after a specific amount of summons, right? So this is huge that this is a thing, and this is coming into play, we saw on the roadmap, from the beginning of October, which is in like a week's time, well, less than that. So the next Dokkan Fest that's coming out, which of course will be on both versions at the same time because the games are synced now, basically, the unit that's coming out next, the next standalone Dokkan Festival, is going to have this pity system on it. So this is really good, and it has the same thing where for 21 multis in total, because it's 7 times, every third multi gives you a guaranteed featured. So again, like if you're someone who wants to go for one of these characters like Roshi, for example, you know, you could throw 150 stones at that banner knowing that that third multi is going to be guaranteed featured, and that could pull you the Roshi, right? So that's really, really good, and that is going forward for every banner, every standalone Dokkan Fest, right? So huge news. Shout out to everyone who tagged me because of the Heroes thing. But yeah, huge news. Loads of updates coming soon. Dokkan Awakenings for the free-to-play units. And then, of course, most importantly, the information for the EZAs. So shout out to Minato for this info. But yeah, we have the Tech, Goku, and Vegeta. The 12 key super infinitely stacks attack, greatly raised defense in 1 turn, colossal damage. The 18 key greatly raised attack. Remember, that's infinite stacking on the attack in both supers. Greatly raised defense in 1 turn, does mega colossal damage, so that's really good. Passive, key 2, attack and defense 200%, attack and defense 50 when performing a super, 40% damage reduction, that's good. Changes the random type of key sphere to rainbow. Key 2 per rainbow key sphere obtained. Launch an additional attack which has a great chance to become a super. Then attack 50% and launches an additional super with a rainbow key sphere obtained. Oh wow. So they make rainbow orbs and they only need to pick up 1. And they get a 50% attack buff and a guaranteed additional super, so that's really good. Attack and defense 50% and reduce damage received by 20% for 1 turn from the character's first appearance, or when HP is 70% or below at the start of the turn. So on turn 1, not only do they get extra attack and defense 50%, but they have 60% damage reduction. And then at the start of any turn where you're at 70% or below HP, they have 60% damage reduction and the extra attack and defense, so that's really good. And then, of course, when they fuse into Gogeta, we get greatly raised attack and defense for 1 turn, colossal damage, greatly raised attack and defense for 3 turns, and mega colossal damage. Greatly lowers attack and defense is the 18 key. So recovers 30% HP once only, key plus 5, and attack and defense 250%, attack and defense 77% when performing a super, that's pretty good. Performs, okay, he just gets guaranteed crits, reduced damage received by 40%, creates rainbow orbs, key 3 per rainbow orb obtained, 77% attack and an additional super, and guard when you get a rainbow orb, so that's crazy. Reduced damage received by 40% until attacking, and foresees enemy super attack for 5 turns from this character's first appearance. So for the first 5 turns when you fuse, he has 80% damage reduction before attacking, so that's pretty good. When an enemy is hit by the character's Ultra Super, nullifies unarmed super attacks directed at the character from that enemy for the duration of that turn. I wish they'd updated that a little bit so that he didn't have to hit them with the Ultra Super first, but I mean, it's still cool, I guess. I'm not sure which of the current like big meta bosses actually have unarmed supers, but still pretty cool. And then high chance of evading attacks temporarily when receiving a super attack. Okay, so that just means like for the super attack itself, he has a 50% chance to dodge supers. So that makes him pretty interesting after fusing, like putting him in turn 1 in slot 1. He only has 250% attack and defense, which isn't terrible. It's quite a high number, but he has 80% damage reduction, which means he should tank normals perfectly fine, and then has a 50% chance to dodge if it's a super anyway. And then of course, if he does super first, if the enemy has an unarmed super attack, then he guaranteed nullifies it as well. So it certainly seems very, very good. The fact that he creates rainbow orbs and you only need 1 rainbow orb and then he's doing all of those things, like that seems really, really good. Extra attack, a guaranteed additional super, and guard. So yeah, he seems incredible. So that's really, really cool. And then we have Janemba. I've been looking forward to this guy's EZA for some time, so let's see what he does. Raise attack and defense for 1 turn on the 12 key, colossal damage, great lowers defense. 18 key, greatly raise attack and defense for 1 turn, mega colossal, and massively lowers defense. So those are fine, super attack effects, nothing crazy, but decent. Passive is key +6 and attack and defense 166%, okay. Guards all attacks, okay, good. Because in, like, before his EZA, his guard was conditional on, like, which slot he was in, which was really stupid. I think he didn't have it if he was in slot 3, right? So if you had to float him off because you had a really bad starting rotation, he wouldn't have guard, which is kind of awkward. So he just has guard all the time. He has 22% damage reduction, just all the time as well, that's good. Launches an additional attack which has a great chance to become a super for 1 turn from his first appearance. So just on turn 1, he has an additional that has a great chance to become a super. Key 2 up to 6, attack and defense 66 up to 166, and chance to perform a crit 22 up to 66 with each attack performed. So he's got to attack 3 times. Now again, this was locked to being in a certain slot before, and now it isn't, so that's really good. Attack 66% when key is 22 or more. Reduces damage received by 22% when this character is positioned in the first or second slot in the turn. So he gets extra damage reduction in slot 1 or 2. So he'll have 44% and guard. It's pretty good. Launches an additional attack which has a great chance to become a super attack as the second or third attacker in the turn. So if you put him in slot 2, he's getting that extra damage reduction and an additional attack that has a great chance to become a super. That is pretty good. And then great chance of nullifying Key Blast super attacks directed at the character. 70% chance for Key Blast supers. That's pretty good. High chance of evading enemies' attacks temporarily when receiving a super attack. Okay, so he has the same thing. So not only can he just counter Key Blast supers, but he also has the thing where he has the 50% chance to just dodge them. So that means both of those will be calculated. Like if he's getting super attacked by a Key Blast super, if he doesn't counter it, then he could also just dodge, which is pretty cool. So yeah, he seems very, very good. Very strong defensively, which is what we want. Key +6 is really good because he did struggle for key, I think, before. So having that extra key there, I think, is really good. Yeah, he seems very, very good. And then, of course, he has the Rage mode. The Rage mode is greatly raise attack temporarily, destructive damage to the enemy, and guaranteed crit. Okay. Massively raise attack temporarily, destructive damage, and performs a crit. Yep, so pretty good. Changes all key spheres into physical. Okay, that's interesting. Key 2 per key sphere obtained. Attack 16% per key sphere obtained. So that's interesting because it means his first attack will be a massive hit because he's changing all the orbs to physical and then you're picking them all up. But then obviously the orb field refreshes. So then it depends what you get after that. But the first attack will be a huge hit. 16% per key sphere obtained. It's what, 23 orbs on a full field of orbs? So 368% extra attack with a guaranteed crit is pretty good. So yeah, the Rage mode seems very, very good. That seems like one of those things where you will be able to just pop this and actually do a very decent amount of damage, as well as being able to, of course, have those benefits of not being able to take damage. If you take a super during the Rage mode, obviously like a giant form, it like cancels it out when you come out of it. So yeah, that seems really, really good. So both Janemba and Gogeta seem really, really good. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section of all of this information that was revealed today from the producer letter. The fact that we are going to have pity going forward on like all of these Dokkan Fest banners now is just crazy. I think this is something that long-time players have been waiting for a very, very long time now. So definitely very interested to see who the next Dokkan Fest is going to be and how this celebration after the Worldwide is finished ends up going through. But all in all, definitely very, very excited about all of this stuff. Let me know all your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. And yeah, that is going to be it for the video. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out all the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.